right now, Tiger is on the course at 2 over through 15. Your leader is Abraham Answer, who's alone at 7 under par. Thursday baseball is about to begin. Angels and Tigers in Detroit. Ooma Office is the most reliable, simplest to use, and easiest to install business phone. Perfect for 5 employees or 50. Ooma Office is #1 rated by PC Mag readers, and at $19.95 per user per month, you'll save tons. More at ooma.com. NBC Sports Radio.
It's Tri-Cities Sports Now, going global with the talk of Real Madrid. Yeah, like I said, I mean, I first started doing this show. We had a consultant, and he would come on and say, now you got to talk more soccer. And I said, my friend, come on. We've been saying this for 50 years. I played soccer at Point Park College. It was college back then. It's now university. Yeah, I did. You know why I played it? I had never played it before. They needed men to play. And they said, Marky, would you like to play something? You know. So you can imagine what that was like. I couldn't make the baseball team. So I played soccer. All right. It was a walk-on. Yeah, sure. Wound up leading the team in games played. You can imagine what kind of a soccer team we had with them. Still couldn't figure out you didn't want to use your hands. I mean, it was like that. Okay. You know, but so to me, you know, the reason why I was following, you know, talking about soccer was, come on. And I did have a little bit of, you know, look, it would be baseball is American, basketball is American, football is American, log rolling, you know, stock car racing on the track, they're all American. And yeah, I want to wave my red, white, and blue a little bit here and have that pride and all that. And there was a little bit of, well, is soccer really American exceptionalism? Which it probably isn't. But I tell you, I go out and I talk to the youth, and I will say it again and again. I think that soccer gets some things right. Now, I will always appreciate more the pause play sports of America. I guess we could discuss if golf is American or Scottish. We really want to go, but that's obviously a pause play sport. But let me just go to baseball and football. They are pause play sports. I love the fact of keeping the scorecard at a baseball game, and you can open it up years later and be able to relive like it was yesterday when you kept score the baseball game. Few other sports have that. Soccer doesn't. But I do see where, yeah, the soccer game is rigidly timed. You know it's going to be a 2-hour commitment, just like you know watching a TV show is going to be a half-hour commitment or an hour-long commitment or whatever, you know? And that's the modern-day mindset. I understand low scoring means close game. This is what something, you know, people, they do not understand this. I kept hearing last year, that Jaguars-Bills game set back football at 10-3. Jaguars win. Really? In many ways, I thought it was more memorable than the 45-42 game in Pittsburgh the Jaguars won. Because you know what? That touchdown that the Steelers scored at the end was just an oh-by-the-way score. Perhaps because of poor coaching, or perhaps not. And yeah, the 10-3 game was far more competitive. It was 3-3. It was close in the fourth quarter. Jags-Steelers really wasn't. Well, the one is high scoring. I don't really buy that, oh, fans, they want high scoring. Yeah, a 10-9 baseball game, probably, you know, Bill Mazeroski walking off with a home run, or the Indians winning on Sunday, or whatever it was, or the Braves coming back from their 6-0 deficit against the Marlins. I get that, okay, sure. But most high-scoring games aren't that way. Most of them are 11-5. It's high-scoring. It's not as exciting as 3-2 or 2-1 in baseball. The NBA has been very high-scoring. The games have been lopsided. They've been nothing like the Stanley Cup playoffs. The other thing that I think is that we've just watered down the regular season with far too many playoffs in everything but college football. And even there, Look, it's not 1 versus 2. It's, that 4th place team. Yes, Alabama can come and win a national championship that in years gone by they would not have. Now, maybe Alabama is the best team in college football, despite not winning the SEC West. Well, the SEC West is based on a select few amount of games. The national championship is based on the entire season. Remember that. So when someone says, how can you be the national champion when you don't win your conference? Again, a conference championship is based on 8 or 9 games. A national championship is based on 12, and then whatever you do in your conference final or what have you. But if you're 12-0 and you lose the conference final, or you don't play in it, as the case may be, because you lost to Auburn, well, yeah, then that's where that number 4 comes in, all right? I mean, to me, it's a non-issue. It's the stupidest argument I've heard. But yeah, and I asked myself, why do we have 100,000 seat stadiums in college football and we don't have them in pro football, where the regular season is probably the most meaningful now of any of the 4 major sports? Why is soccer so? Because finishing first in the English Premier League, you win the championship. It's tough for a team like Newcastle, which hasn't won it since 1927. Talk about, Chicago, the Cardinals, they haven't won the NFL title since 1947 when they were in Chicago. Well, talk to these people carrying coals over here. Magpies aren't doing all that well. Well, actually, I think they were in the upper half of the English Premier League, if memory serves. But no, seriously. I mean, that's the appeal of soccer. Regular season championship is the championship. Well, that has a little bit more weight than, well, let's throw that out and play best of 3. Doesn't it? I think so. Tri-City Sports Now, I'm Marky Bilson. But these are the reasons why I think that there is now a tremendous youth appeal to soccer, and the other sports just aren't getting it. I don't maintain to be a soccer expert. Not it by a long shot. I had to ask John Hooper, okay, this coach that they're talking about at Real Madrid, tell me about it. But it's a bigger sports story of the day. And we're going to talk about it. You know what I think is the biggest American sports story of the day? Oh, yeah. I really believe this. You heard them talk about this on the Sports Update, top of the hour. Oh, it was this.
And a bucked up Dan Holtby watching a back out top of the corner and a shot and a save made by Braden Holtby. Oh my! As Alex Tuck was robbed on a puck that came bouncing out of the corner, and Washington by a whisker. Still on top with 1:59 to go. My goodness, Braden Holtby.
So the Washington Capitals have finally, after being created in the mid-'70s, won a Stanley Cup Finals game. Took them a long time. Took them longer than it took the Vegas Golden Knights, who are the best sports story in North America this year. But nevertheless, that save was why there's depth to hockey. That also goes into my thing of, low scoring does mean close. 3-2 hockey game, we can discuss whether that's low scoring or not. But the stick save in the clutch moment to prevent the Golden Knights from tying it up at home and really taking command of the series. Remember, at the beginning of this series, if you asked me 2 weeks ago, I would have said the Golden Knights would win the Stanley Cup. I really was on their bandwagon. But let's face it. The Caps, they've got more scoring punch. Holtby is playing just a little bit better than Marc-Andre Fleury, who early in his career in Pittsburgh was kind of known for allowing the soft goal. Oh, he'd have great stats, but there was always that one that you said, And I guess when he kicked in the tying goal in the third period in Game 1 of the Stanley Cup playoffs, you thought similar, come by again. Oh, don't get me wrong. As good as Holtby was yesterday, Marc-Andre Fleury has carried the Golden Knights to where they are today So I still think he's the front runner for the Conn Smythe, and he may very well come back as the series shifts to Washington. But, hey, this so far, it's been Holtby who has been the hotter goaltender. That was proven last night, and that's why John Walton was saying this at the end of the hockey game.
Jay Beagle trying to win it. Here we go. Eric Hall on the other side. Beagle down on one knee. A scramble. The Caps poking to the wall. Carlson with a takedown. 5 seconds left. Orbigal sent it to the far side. Eller trying to get it out. And that's it. Good morning. Good afternoon. And good night, Vegas. The Washington Capitals have come to Sin City. And even the series grabbed home ice. And for the first time ever, have won a Stanley Cup final game. They win 3-2 at T-Mobile Arena.
Oh, great effort by the Capitals. That was outstanding. Last half of this game, very good. The defensive shutdown that we're used to seeing throughout the playoffs here in the third period. Very good in front of Braden Holtby, who was, to me, his best game of the playoffs so far for Braden Holtby. And the Caps get a well-deserved win and take the home ice away.
Understand this moment. This is as close right now that the Washington Capitals have ever been to a Stanley Cup. In their only other appearance in the Stanley Cup final, they were swept in 1998 by the Detroit Red Wings. They will not be swept here. They have even the series. They now have home ice, and Capital One Arena is going to be rocking on Saturday night as the Caps have now done something as well, Kenny, that hasn't happened this postseason. The Vegas Golden Knights just lost in regulation for the first time this playoff year.
Wow, think about that. Lost in regulation, first time in the playoffs, Golden Knights. That's been how dominant they have been. But also, I mean, you know, last night's game, like I said, competitive. It's all the reasons why I've spoken of how, you know, soccer, and I don't mean to say taking over, and I mean even, you know, John Hooper was saying, I don't know if it'll ever really replace baseball, but I don't know if it's replacing, much as it would be, it's having its niche. You know, NASCAR will have its niche, tennis will have its niche. But as I say, every time I go out and I try to, you know, promote my show, and I talk to somebody 25 or, hey, what's your favorite sport? They're coming back with soccer all the time. So there you go. Some other notes that I wanted to make. I mean, really, I just spoke of Holtby, Braden Holtby, being the, you know, hotter goaltender. Well, consider that he was 15 for 15 in the third period, in addition to that incredible save. I mean, it's 3-2, and the Knights cannot find what has always been there for them these entire playoffs, that clutch moment, that tying goal. And there's something to be said for that. The other question I was looking at, by the way, I should point this out. Well, let's see here. I also wanted to point out that although I am looking up my play-by-play cuts and I cannot find James Neal. James Neal actually put the Golden Knights up 1-0 in the game last night. So, former Predator, somebody that, you know, who do you root for if you're a Predators fan? Do you root for Neal or do you root for Barry Trotz? Well, I think almost all fans will root for a James Neal. I mean, that's the thing. But, sure. I really, as I see Trotz now on behind the bench for the Capitals, really coming out and saying, boy, you know, would he have pulled Pekka Rinne? And I really think that pulling of Pekka Rinne, I said it in second round of playoffs, Game 7, so early, and I know he allowed a couple of bad goals, but it came right after a shutout, and I really think that somebody who was in large part face of the franchise, you can talk about Forsberg or Subban, but really, I thought that, you know, they're not mentioning those two on the Tennessee Lottery commercials. And to pull Rinne when they did, I just wonder, there were already starting to be some rumblings about him, which I thought were ill-founded. They'll only double now, and it'll be a huge obstacle for the Predators to go forward and win the Stanley Cup in their window of opportunity. I almost wonder if they shouldn't trade him in his final year of the contract and then allow Soros to become the heir apparent, perhaps a year early, in the Predators' quest for Lord Stanley's Cup in 2018-2019. Now, I don't have the goal call, but I do have James Neal talking about how important it is to slow down Alexander Ovechkin in this series.
I mean, he's one of the best goal scorers ever, so, that being said, you just got to try to keep him to the outside as much as you can. He has that ability to get a shot off anywhere on the ice, and it's hard. And so for us, we just got to try to keep him to the outside. Kuznetsov drives that line, and he's a great passer, so try to limit his speed through the neutral zone and things like that. But when he gets his chances, and Flower will be there to stop him.
Well, Ovechkin scored in this series in Game 1, but it wasn't with his scoring touch that gave the Capitals their victory last night. Instead, a renewed emphasis on defense, as Game 2 was less, closer to the vest, let's say, than Game 1, 5 goals as compared to 10. But what really impressed me about Ovechkin was that he had 5 hits. It was his defensive play in a hard-checking hockey game. My goodness, Ovechkin even blocked shots. And I know when you think about that in hockey, you think about maybe the slap shot that somebody takes in the ribs. Well, okay, Ovechkin, a little bit smarter than that, blocking the shot with his stick rather than his body. Far less painful that way. Far better for the future of the hockey player. But yeah, Ovechkin playing the complete game that you often hear people talk about in his game. Now there was an example and an appreciation that, it's not just skate and wait for the goals to be scored for a novice fan. There's more to hockey than just that. I really think, just like I've said, soccer is, e-gaming, fantasy sports, MMA. All this stuff is the future. I still think there's a place for baseball and football. They're always going to be my favorites. Maybe a little bit less for golf. But all I'm saying is that, if we can get some emphasis, some backing of the Predators, if we could ever get a new arena in this area, not only for ETSU basketball, but with the floor space that you could have an ECHL team, area becomes more cosmopolitan, area becomes more exciting. And what would it mean for the Tri-Cities to have an ECHL team when Asheville, Roanoke, and Knoxville would not? Said it before, I'll say it again until it happens. Tri-Cities Sports Now. Coming back, more of a thought, I do agree. Don't just stick to sports, just what Adam Silver says. But how one-sided has this become? I've got an example when we return on Tri-Cities Sports Now.